is the global news on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. NDDC to unveil vision for sustainable development. Governor Oborevori felicitates Atiku at 77. Appeal Court upholds Abia PDP reps election. CBN to address Naira depreciation. Ukraine destroys 71 Russian attack drones. Davido reacts to Israel DMW's marital crisis. Alexander Arnold rescues Liverpool draw at Man City. Thank you for staying with us on the Global News tonight. Here is a bulletin in full. Chairman of the Governing Board of Niger Delta Development Commission, Chiedu Ebie, has stated that the new leadership in the commission will unveil the right vision in a facility tour of the NDDC headquarters complex in Port Harcourt, underlined the need for the new board and executive management to take basic steps that would inform the rollout of new strategies to drive the development process in Nigeria's oil-rich region. Accompanying the chairman on the facility tour were other members of the NDDC board, including the managing director, Dr. Samuel Obuku, the executive director of finance and administration, Alabo Boma Iyaye, the executive director of project, Sir Victor Antai, and the executive director, corporate services, Honorable Ifedayo Abegunde. Ebie said that as part of the measures to reposition the NDDC, the board in its inaugural meeting had to first familiarize itself with the activities of the commission. While briefing to chairman during the facility tour, the NDDC Director, Human Resources and Administration, Patrick Ekade, said that the commission was in the process of procuring fire trucks to fortify its fire service unit. When fully equipped, he said the unit would not only serve the NDDC building, but would be able to respond to distress calls from the commission's host community and beyond. Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, says the people of Opobo are an integral part of the history of the just struggle, which makes him a true Ijoso. Speaking when he met with the regents and the other representatives of Calabaris, King Kaburi, at Government House in Port Harcourt, Governor Fubara dismissed insinuations in some quarters that labeled him as a non-Ijo, saying such persons are bereft of the history of the struggle that made Ijo a reputable class of people. Governor Fubara said Ijo people are bold, courageous, and forthright people who, despite being subjected to inhuman treatment, did not succumb to being traded as slaves during the slave trade. Fubara emphasized that he has one cardinal belief, which is that is the only one of God only the will of God prevails in every circumstance, whether good or bad, winning or failing. Condoling the Calabar people over the demise of their monarch, late King Theophilus J.T. Princeville, Governor Fubara assured that the state government will fully participate in the burial activities while urging the people to put their differences aside and work together to give the late king a befitting burial. In his speech, the regent of Calabar Kingdom, Dr. Charles Nombere Princeville, said they visited to notify the governor that Theophilus J.T. Princeville, Amakri the 11th, the Amayanabo and natural ruler of Calabar Kingdom, has died, and formally invited him to attend the funeral. He thanked the governor for the support already given to them and solicited for more. Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevori has congratulated Atiku Abubakar, the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, on his 77th birthday. The governor's felicitation was featured in a statement issued on Saturday in Asaba by Sir Festus Ahon, his chief press secretary. He praised Atiku for his political and economic efforts, which had led to the nation's wealth and unity. Oborevori lauded the Waziri of Adamawa's unwavering devotion to Nigeria's progress, calling it noble and deserving of commendation. He described Atiku's role in defending and expanding democracy in Nigeria, as well as his incisive and relentless advice on national issues, as exceptional and significant. Obervori regarded Atiku as a destabilizing Nigerian and a unifier whose goodwill had benefited many people's lives by spanning socio-economic, class, party lines, gender, ethnicity, and religion. President Bola Tinubu has vowed to address national challenges. He lauded the management of the institution as he described its uninterrupted academic calendar as a milestone, while giving his speech. Delta State Governor Sheriff Obrevori, who was represented by his deputy Monday Oyeme, expressed pleasure over the improvements made by the institution in its short time of existence. He lauded the management of the school for its achievement in information technology, saying he was certain that the graduating students have been immersed in the knowledge of IT, information technology. Meanwhile, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ikechukwu Ogala appreciated patrons in the Navy for their immense contribution to the development of the institution. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio has been the appeal court's reaffirmation of his election. Akpabio assured citizens of Cross River and Akwa Ibom structure in the two sister states, especially the very deplorable Calabar-Uyo Federal Highway. The former governor of Akwa Ibom State admitted that the terrible state of the road affects both states. Akwa Ibom governorship candidate of Action Alliance Jeremiah Udo Akpan has approached the Supreme Court to set aside the judgment of the appeal court. Akpan is seeking to the nullification of the governorship election of March 18, 2023, among others. According to the notice of appeal to the Apex Court, the AA candidate described the judgment of the appeal court as a miscarriage of justice. He explained that he is approaching the Supreme Court to objectively review the appeal court judgment because the learned justices of the appeal court erred in law and decision. Prior to the election, Akpan said that INEC had disobeyed an appeal court judgment and court order to recognize him as the right governorship candidate of Action Alliance in the state. INEC did not upload Akpan's name as a candidate of the AA in the March 18, 2023 gubernatorial elections in Akwa Ibom State. INEC had argued that at the election tribunal and the appeal court that unlawful exclusion is not a ground for cancellation of election. Court of Appeal in the Owerri Division has upheld the victory of Erondu Uchenna Erondu Jr. as a member representing Obingwo West Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. The appeal court dismissed the petition brought before it by the candidate of the Labour Party, Victoria Onwubiko, challenging the election of the lawmaker for lacking in merit. In a unanimous judgment delivered on Saturday, the court held that the petitioner failed to prove that the election that produced Erondu Jr. was marred by overvoting and disenchantment of voters. Onwubiko, who prayed the court to reconduct elections in 82 polling units, alleged that some others were disenfranchised, but the prayers were rejected by the appeal court, which ruled that the petitioner did not lead any evidence on alleged disenfranchisement of voters, maintaining that her lawyer's address could not be accepted as a substitute to evidence in court. The appellate court further held that the petitioner failed to provide the concerned voters to come to the tribunal to prove that they were disenfranchised from voting on election day. While reacting to the ruling, the lead counsel to the lawmaker, Hagla Okorie, hailed the court for ensuring that justice prevailed against all odds, adding that the judgment was a victory for democracy. In his remarks, the counsel to the People's Democratic Party, Emeka Eze, who thanked the tribunal for ensuring that justice prevailed in the matter, said the verdict was a victory for the rule of law. Meanwhile, Erondu Jr., who is the chairman House Committee on Public Services, has hailed the judgment, noting that it was a victory for democracy and his constituents, whose mandate he regards as sacred. He thanks the court for ruling, reiterating his commitment to his constituents for keeping faith with him while the case lasted in the court. The Uhe-born legislator promised not to let his constituents down. Anambra State government has commenced the conduct of computer-based tests for applicants for the 2023 teachers recruitment exercise. The state government had last year recruited 5,000 teachers into public schools in the state before announcing additional recruitment of 3,000 more this year. The tests are being conducted with the help of the Anambra State ICT agency headed by Chukwemeka Fred Abata. A press release by the agency, which was signed by Abata, stated that the test, which commenced on Thursday, has been going on without hitches. The statement quoted ASUBEB chairman Dr. Vera Nkiru as disclosing that over 19,500 applications were received on the application portal, with the applicants grouped into batches for the examination. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, has commissioned a 70 million litre per day water project in Enugu, saying his administration had raised the potable water production capacity from the occasional 2 million litres per day to 120 million litres per day. Commissioning the project known as the Night Mile 247 water scheme on Saturday in fulfillment of his campaign promise to restore water to Enugu City in 180 days from the date of his inauguration. Dr. Mba explained that the 4.4 megawatt gas-powered plant built by his administration to supply power at the scheme would ensure uninterrupted water supply to Enugu residents. Regretting the dire water challenges faced by Enugu residents before now, he said availability of potable water was consequential to his administration's vision to raise the state's economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion GDP in 4 to 8 years. He spoke in Lagos while delivering the lecture titled Empowering Nigerian Youth in the Present Day Economy at the 35th Convocation Ceremony of Yaba College of Technology. But the BIMLA said that to make the process seamless, applicants will apply online, be verified online and accredited based on the verified document and credentials they submitted. He said nobody would need to know anybody to qualify for these loans, so that access to this financing will be genuinely egalitarian. Upon signing the bill, the president assured that no student would drop out of tertiary institutions over inability to pay their fees. Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency has officially launched its 2024 mobile advert permit, along with the unveiling of a new website and corporate logo. The agency stated it's committed to staying at the forefront of technology, enhancing user experience and maintaining relevance in the dynamic landscape of outdoor advertising regulation. The development was made available on Saturday via the Lagos State Government page on X. In his address, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer Lassa Afatiu Akiolu, stated that the mobile advert permits in a QR code which is secured by the encryption set to revolutionize the registration process for branded vehicles in the state. According to Akiolu, the unique code containing brand type, number plate and permits here assures authenticity and compliance. Ensures authenticity and compliance. Verification is streamlined through Lassa's customized QR code scanner available both online and offline. He said that to further facilitate the ease of doing business, Lassa has decentralized the registration process. The state government has appealed to the traditional rulers to join the government to ensure full compliance of citizens with monthly environmental sanitation exercise. The state government has said the efforts of monarchs are relevant in the implementation of the environmental law and other policies that are strategically formulated to promote the good health and wellness of citizens. The Ekiti State Deputy Governor Monisha De Afuye said this on Saturday at the Palace of Arajaka of Igbara Odo Ekiti Oba Edward Jayola, while monitoring the monthly environmental sanitation in the Ekiti Southwest local government area. Afuye, according to a statement by her media assistant Victor Ogunje, specifically frowned at the large turnout of traders at the Oja Oba market in Igbara, Edo Ekiti around 8:30 a.m. When the environmental sanitation was fully ongoing. Responding, Oba Jayola applauded Governor Oyebanji's government for its love for the citizens, assuring that such conduct will not repeat itself in the next episode of the exercise. Operatives of the Civil Defense Corps have arrested a farmer identified as Paul Amechi following alleged killing of a herder for grazing cattle on his farm. The mutilated body of the herder was reportedly found on Amechi's farm at Telemu village in Agowu, Ayedade, local government area of the state, raising suspicions of his involvement in the deceased death. Confirming the incident, the state NSCDC spokesperson Kehinde Adeleke said the remains of the victim had been evacuated from the scene of the crime. The suspect and his cohorts, according to an eyewitness, had allegedly laid a bush for the herders. The eyewitness, who is also a herder, said Amechi was displaced after his farm was damaged by herders that took their cattle there to feed about 2 weeks ago. President Bola Tinubu has apparently apprehended the lingering rift between the Ondo Governor Rotimi Aiyetiwa following hours of peace meeting at the presidential villa, Abuja. Both sides have now resolved to embrace amity and maintain status quo as Aiyetiwa promised to carry along members of the state's executive council and officials intending the affairs of the state. Similarly, the Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly, Oladeji Olamide, has resolved to halt all impeachment moves against the deputy governor. Ondo stakeholders reached these resolutions after over 6 hours of deliberations with President Tinubu in the seat of power. Deputy Governor spoke on his decision to maintain the status quo and unite all the warring factions. He called on all members of the State Executive Council to cooperate with both the governor and himself to bring the dividend of democracy to the people of Ondo State. President Tinubu has now ordered the police to withdraw from the premises of the Ondo State House of Assembly in Akure to allow for the return of normal business. Governorship candidate of People's Democratic Party in the March 18 election in Ogun State, Honorable Ladi Adebutu, has expressed optimism of reclaiming his mandate at the Supreme Court. Adebutu, who stated this while reacting to the appeal court judgment, where he got minority judgment, described it as a pathway to victory. Adebutu, in a statement signed by Director of Media, Ladi Adebutu Campaign Organization Falabi Orekoya, noted that the judiciary at higher level is gradually considering the merits of the petition, the courage and boldness of Honorable Justice Jane Inyang, who delivered what he called the minority judgment that was well detailed and true to the provisions of the true rule of law. Adebutu, while commending his supporters for their tenacity and unwavering faith in the cause of justice, he said he does not take their efforts, loyalty and prayers for granted. Kogi State Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Lokoja has granted counsels to the first applicants in the case of the governorship election petition Murtala Ajaka the leave of the court to allow access to materials and all documents used in the conduct of November 11 gubernatorial election. Just in the petition, the Independent National Electoral Commission to comply within 24 hours. The order followed an application filed by S.E. Aruwa, a counsel to the plaintiff, who expressed his inability to access the documents mainly for the 2 items to proceed with his case. According to Aruwa, all efforts to access the documents at INEC office in Abuja and Lokoja had proved abortive. In his preliminary ruling, Justice Bernin Kudu said the application was meritorious in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended under Electoral Law 2023. He therefore granted the application that the first respondent allowed John Adele, SE and S.A. Aruwa, counsels to Ajaka and SDP certified copies of documents used for the governorship election within 2 days by suspected armed bandits. The incident occurred in Niwekoi village in the Yangtu development area of Takum Local Government Council. Confirming the event on Saturday, the Taraba State Police Command Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Usman revealed that the assailants killed 10 farmers who were on their way to their fields. The victims, all members of the Kuteb ethnic group, were identified by the commander as Hope Hassan, Somse, Lamadi, Holiness Enoch, Rimamsiski Enoch, Egu Hassan, Saleh Kiatiki, Ephraim Atenji, Manisa Atenji, and Hassan Songure. According to the command, the assailants escaped their attack. The Commissioner of Police, Joseph Eribo, has ordered the immediate deployment of an anti-kidnapping team to the area. The remains of the victims have been released to their relatives for burial. Governors of the Northeast has resolved to embark on more collaborative efforts among member states to come up with a security architecture design for the region. The governors noted that bad federal roads are fueling security in the region and called on the Federal Ministry of Works to follow through with road contracts awarded in the region. This is contained in a communique issued at the end of the night meeting of the forum held at the banquet hall of Adamo Estate Government House in Yola on Saturday. According to a statement signed by the chairman of the forum and Governor of Borno State, Baba Gana Zulum, the forum said there was a need for a robust platform for regional economic development and resolved to work as an entity in strengthening the human capacity and socio-economic development of its people. On climate change and environmental degradation, the forum resolved to strengthen its coordination, its collaboration with all initiatives such as the Great Ready to offer more democracy dividends to the electorate through the implementation of important development projects that would have a direct impact on their lives, particularly those of the common man. He said that the appeal court decision demonstrated that the judicial arm of government was truly doing its job as an independent organization, as it was fair to all individuals, regardless of tribal, political, or religious allegiance. While praising the court for performing a thorough and good job, Idris asked them to keep up with the pace for the sake of the nation's democracy and the country as a whole. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after the break. contact with bandits in Tangaza, local government area of Sokoto State, is saying that with a fight troops neutralized the 4 terrorists and recovered 2 locally made pistols, 1 long den gun, 12 empty cases of 7.62 mm special ammo for its economy. Represented by his deputy Farouk Jobe at the ceremony, Governor Rada reaffirmed the current government commitment to building upon various previous achievements, promising to enhance the lives of citizens across the state's 34 local societal landscape. The federal government is to support between 150,000 to 250,000 farmers with 50% input subsidy to cultivate between 200,000 to 250,000 hectares of wheat in the 2023-2024 wheat regulation irrigation farming program. The program is expected to yield 1,250,000 tons of wheat. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari said the program is aimed at reducing food inflation as well as Nigeria's independence on foreign imports while increasing domestic consumption. Speaking in Hadejia, Jigawa State on Saturday during the flag off of the 2023-2024 dry season wheat development project under National to Genuine Farmers, the minister reiterated that dry season farming is an integral part of the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket project made possible by a $134 million loan facility advanced to Nigeria by the African Development Bank. Kano State Police Command had issued a fresh warning against the All Progressive Congress and the New Nigeria People Party planned rally. Kaduna State Governor Senator Uba Sani has announced a higher seat for the overall winners of the annual Quranic recitation competition in the state in the male and female categories. According to the governor, the 2 winners will be among the clerics who will serve as guides and preachers for pilgrims from the state during the 2024 Hajj exercise. The governor made the announcement at the finals of the annual Quranic recitation, which was held in Kaduna State, positions across different categories. Sani was speaking on the issue. While speaking on the 2024 Hajj exercise, said he has inaugurated a committee to ensure that the next Hajj exercise is hitch-free and a great improvement on the 2023 exercise characterized by accommodation and feeding challenges. Meanwhile, the national leader Jama'atu Izalatu Bida wa Ikamatu Suna Abdullahi Lau, while delivering a lecture at the event, also said that the Quran is a solution to ending the challenges of terrorism because whoever understands the Quran will not engage in terrorism and banditry. Zamfara State Chief Judge Justice Kulu Aliyu has granted unconditional pardon to 30 prisoners. Justice Aliyu warned the pardoned inmates to desist from all forms of criminality so as to become useful in the society. The prisoners were released at the Gusau Central Correctional Center. The released inmates comprise of those on death row as well as those convicted for various crimes or awaiting trial. The State Director of Litigation, Barrister Aisha Jibril, said the Chief Judge warned the pardoned inmates to change their trades. It was gathered that the dominant cases included obtaining money under false pretense, witchcraft, rape among us the best solution to the menace of violence against women. Obi made this submission in a statement on his ex-handle on Saturday, marking the Global International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. He condemned all acts of violence against women, saying, according to the national demographic and good health care for them. And I will bring you business news. Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, has set depreciation and achieve exchange rate stability. He said the CBN will also conduct a new recapture economy. Cardoso also disclosed that the CBN will introduce a new licensing framework for fintechs and payment banks, warning that operators found engaging in activities outside their houses will be sanctioned. Outside of the licenses will be sanctioned, citing the need to curtail the challenge of rising inflation. Cardoso said the Apex Bank will further tighten money supply for the next 2 quarters. He added that to further reduce excess cash in the banking system, the management of the CBN had approved its operations treasury bills. Vice President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Mai Gandhi Shatima, has tasked its members to leave above board in the discharge of their duties. Shatima, in a statement on Saturday by his special advisor on media, Afam Okwone, said the association should deepen its partnership with the federal government to fix the moribund refineries. He said both the federal government and experts in the oil sector should put their grievances behind and forge ahead for the good of the country. He disclosed plans to take him in the next IPMAN election and see to the building of new refineries across geopolitical zones in Nigeria by partnering with globally acclaimed foreign investors if elected president. He said if achieved, it would put to an end the issue of fuel scarcity, as it would lead to favorable price regime for petroleum products from the Nigerian consumers, increase profit for oil marketers, and surplus and stabilize the foreign exchange for the federal government of Nigeria. He said was the biggest attack on the capital since the start of the invasion. Kiev city's administration said 5 people were injured, including an 11-year-old child. The air alert in the city lasted for 6 hours, and falling drone debris sparked fires and damaged buildings across the capital. Mayor in a new digging machine to open a vertical shaft to free 41 workers trapped inside a collapsed road tunnel for 2 weeks after efforts through another route hits snags just meters from the reaching. Just meters from reaching the men. In the latest setback in frantic attempts to rescue the increasingly desperate workers, engineers are driving a metal pipe through 57 meters of rock and concrete ran into metal rods and construction vehicles buried in the earth. After the massive drill stopped, rescuers attempting to reach the men through the blocked main tunnel entrance are now working to clear the route without it. According to reports, ambulances are on standby and field hospital has been prepared to receive the men who have been trapped since a portion of the under construction Silkiara tunnel in the northern state of Uttarakhand caved in on November 12. Iran has executed a 17-year-old convicted murderer of expressing outrage that Islamic Republic continues to hang people for crimes committed as minors. The Norway-based Hengel and Iran human rights groups said in a separate statement that Hamid Reza Azari was executed in prison in the eastern town of Sabziva in Razavi Khorasan province. According to reports, Azari was the only child in his family, and despite his age, had already a few years ago started working as a scrap worker. Citing documents they had seen, both Hengao and IHR said he was 16 years old at the time of the crime and 17 when he was executed. He had reportedly been sentenced to death for killing a man in a brawl in May. The rights groups said the execution marked another violation by Iran of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which defines a child as any person under the age of 18. IHR Director Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam said Iran's latest penal code explicitly defined 15 as age of criminal responsibility for boys. The group said Iranian media had reported the execution of a person named as Hamid Reza but falsely gave his age as 18 as a deliberate attempt to evade accountability for violating international laws. And here is entertainment news for tonight. Davido's logistics manager, Israel Afeare, popularly known as Israel DMW, has shared news of the end of his also detailed accounts of generosity, such as providing financial support, upgrading her phone, and indulging in shopping sprees for her. Despite these efforts, he described the shift in Sheila's behavior after their wedding, where she sought to impose the standards on him, believing she had achieved status as a prominent figure on Instagram. Additionally, Israel DMW point crisis between his logistics manager, Israel DMW, and his estranged wife, Israel DMW's wife, Sheila, had in a series of posts on Instagram called on Nigerians to hold her estranged husband responsible if anything happens to her and her family. In less than 1 year after their grand wedding cut over alleged infidelity and domestic violence. Nigerian chef and former organizers of the award released the nomination list, adding that the voting process would be open till December 6. Here now is the ATN Sports News for tonight. Trent Alexander-Arnold's late equalizer gave Liverpool a point at Manchester City in the meeting of the Premier League's top two at Etihad Stadium, in a game that did not touch the heights of previous encounters between the main domestic powers of recent times. Reigning champion City led when Erling Haaland was the beneficiary of Liverpool keeper's Alisson's poor clearance. It made him the fastest player to reach 50 Premier League goals in his 48th match and gave City an advantage that they held until the closing stages. Ruben Diaz thought he had added City's second, only to see his goal ruled out for a foul on Alisson before Alexander-Arnold made Pep Guardiola's side pay for a failure to kill Liverpool off. Alexander-Arnold had a tough game defensively, trying to contain the lively Jeremy Doku, but demonstrated his quality